drop in tonight. Talk about a little bit of NBA basketball. We may get a little NFL in, depending upon how the night goes. But wanted to talk about the NBA. As we near the All-Star break, there are some teams that are doing well, and there are some teams that are struggling and trying to find themselves. And even one that replaced their coach, fired him, and then hired an assistant off another team in the NBA right then and there, which that's pretty unprecedented. I'm talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves when it comes to Ryan Saunders. And then they hired Jay Finch, I believe, is the assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors. And they brought him over to be their new head coach almost instantaneously, which that's unheard of in the NFL, or excuse me, the NBA to happen. So, definitely want to get into some NBA as we near the All-Star break. One thing that is stuck out to me when it goes to the NBA is the success of one team that has been down for a long, long time. If you're thinking about the team I'm thinking of, then yes, you are correct. That would be the New York basketball Knicks. After a 110-107 win today against the Pacers, the New York Knicks are 18-17 and the fourth seed in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to repeat that again to you. The Knicks beat the Pacers, and they are now the 1, 2, 3, 4th seed in the Eastern Conference in the NBA. Now, I can say I didn't expect this one. I expected them to play hard, to defend, because Coach Tom Thibodeau expects nothing less than them for them to defend, and they have done so. But what has been unique is they are running the offense through this man on the screen with me. That would be Julius Randle. He's basically playing point power forward for them. And he is having an all-star year, as evident by him being an all-star this year. I mean, he's having one of the best years of his career under Tibbs right now. And as a benefit, the Knicks are doing well. But he's, of course, not the only success on the team. You got to talk about Emmanuel Quickley, who many questioned when he was selected in the first round. However, he has been fire off of their bench. He's been excellent off of their bench. And I'm going to say it, he has been the second best rookie in the NBA this year. Yes, he has. The only question I have is why is he not starting? But, of course, that'll eventually get there. But, I mean, he's pretty much a point per minute he's been on the court, which is great things for him and great for the Knicks' future. You have R.J. Barrett that's developing as a player, and he's doing great things and doing what doing what he can do. Hey, thank you, Ted, for the award, by the way. Come on and jump on if you want. We're going to talk about somebody's team tonight, too. And what's going on, Danny? What's going on, man? Hope you're safely along that ride, man. Now, as far as the Knicks, the one question I have about them is, can they sustain this? The reason why I ask if they can sustain this is because Tom Thibodeau is known for running his players into the ground. That's what he's known by a lot of fans for doing, playing his starters heavy minutes. Even they may be up 15, 20 points with like 3 minutes left. He's still going to play them heavy minutes. And that seemingly does well for them in the regular season, his teams, but the postseason, it doesn't fare as well because his players are worn down. So with this Knicks team, they have enough depth at the guard position. They acquired Derrick Rose. They have Elfrid Payton, which, plus or minus, if you love him or hate him, he still gives you minutes. You have Emmanuel Quickly, R.J. Barrett, Alec Burke, another guy that nobody talks about. He can come in off the bench and heat it up too. They have depth up front. They have depth in the backcourt. They have depth up front too. So much depth that Obi Toppin, their prize rookie, is not really playing as much. Of course, some of that was due to a calf injury probably earlier in the season, kind of took him out of the rhythm and rotation. But he's there as well. So they're deep enough for, Tibbs to kind of relax the minutes a little bit, give his players proper rest. So that when the postseason comes, they can make a run if they're able to. They do need more out of Reggie Bullock. I know he's in the starting lineup mostly because he can shoot, but it's almost like seeing a full moon sometimes this year. He rarely hits the ocean. But hey, he does have some good games. I'll give him that. But he's got to be more consistent for them from deep to continue to stretch out opposing defenses, and then they'll be able to have more lanes for Derrick Rose, for Emmanuel Quickly. But I will say, Derrick Rose has been starting, I believe, the last couple of games. Elfrid Payton's out with an injury. But when he wasn't starting, you had Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly coming in off the bench. Imagine that type of offensive firepower. Both of those guys being able to handle the ball, both of those guys being able to score the ball, both of those guys being able to break down your defense. That's a dynamic duo off of that bench. And for the Knicks, Knicks fans, I'm happy for you. I know you've been through a lot over these years. The best thing that's happening right now, though, is James Dolan is nowhere near the team right now. I know you all love that. I know you all love that. Keep him as far away as possible. Let Tibbs do his thing. Let World Wide West make his magic happen. And speaking of World Wide West making his magic happen, there is also another rumor out there involving the Knicks. And this man right here. It is being rumored that the Knicks are interested in Karl Anthony Towns. The young center has been through a lot this season, and this past year and change with the pandemic and just the loss of family members due to coronavirus, and certainly my thoughts and prayers go out to him as he continues to deal with not only having coronavirus at one point, but also just the death of relatives, including his mom as well. Definitely it's been a tough year for him. But in terms of, basketball-wise for him, he can do everything you want him to do. I was watching him play against the Charlotte Hornets. Shot fake, sidestep, three-pointer, good. Then he can take it to the basket. He can post up, finish at the rim. He does everything you want in today's big man. Of course, he's not the most athletic big man. Not saying he's non-athletic, but he's just not a super athlete, as you would say. However, he can do anything you want on the court. Now, imagine him beside Julius Randle. Whew, wow. Can you imagine the magic that can happen there? Those two inside-out guys, both of them former John Calipari star big men. Can you imagine the magic that can happen there? Wow. But also, you have to remember they would have to give up some players as well. And thank you, Cortland, for the Stay Safe Award. Hey, Cortland, Ted, or Danny, if you want to come on, the invitation's open. Let me send one out to you, Cortland. And Ted, if you want to come on, you can come on too. All right, let me send out this invitation real quick. There we go. All right. So the question is not only with the Knicks, and also y'all, if you're watching it on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, hey, retweet it, share it, whatever. We want more people in this discussion. The more comments, the merrier. Um, as far as the Knicks, getting back to the Knicks and this Carl Anthony Towns rumor, what are they going to have to give up? Well, we know one piece is going to be gone, and that's Kevin Knox, another former John Calipari pupil. We know he's gone. Unfortunately, gotcha. Okay, gotcha, Cortland. As far as Kevin Knox, it just never worked out for him in New York. Unfortunately, it just was what it was. Said family get together, but 2 cents in here in the chat. Okay, that's cool, man. As far as just Kevin Knox, I mean, he had his moments where you're like, okay, cool. He's going to do his thing. He's going to continue to develop. He's going to get better. And then it just seemed like the world fell apart for him in terms of contributing to the team. And now he can't really crack the rotation with the players on the court. He hasn't really scored the ball well. He scored the ball well when he's had his moments, but he hasn't just been consistent. And I think the biggest thing with him is consistency and confidence. Confidence is lacking. It just seems like it's lacking when you watch him play. As far as his consistency, of course, you can't be consistent if you're not on the court. So there you go. Those two things I think have kind of not made him, he kind of hasn't stood out because of those couple things, unfortunately, for him. And I think a change of scenery would be good for him. And, Minnesota, he'd be a little bit in obscurity. I'll give him that. But it'll give him a chance to kind of reinvigorate his career. So, that's where we are with Kevin Knox. You may see potentially, say, Cat and Beasley in 22. Okay, we'll talk about that one. Say Cat and Beasley. That's two heavy contracts, Cortland. I'm sorry if you're not on the Haps app, you're not seeing this comment. But hey, here's a second for me to tell you about the Haps app. You ever wanted to be on a broadcast and be able to broadcast everywhere at one time? The Haps app is for you. You can broadcast YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all at the same time, as well as you can comment and see these comments that I'm looking at, as well as the one I just put up, talking about Cat and Beasley in the second 2022 second round 2022 pick. I hear you, Cortland, but that's a lot going on, and then you have to think about what's going back to the Minnesota Timberwolves in that one. And I don't think that would match up in terms of salary wise. You want to add to the team, not take away from it. I think a guy you might want to send back the other way to Minnesota, because Kevin Knox. I think you might take an Alec Burke and go ahead and send him that way. You might throw a pick as well. Maybe some things I'm missing there potentially, but maybe either a Mitchell Robinson, perhaps. Maybe he goes to Minnesota. There's a thought. So, maybe the Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and Alex Burke, and maybe a pick. I don't know. I may be overshooting it. Danny could probably tell me that. But hey, that would be a solid trade for the Knicks. That would make the Knicks even better. Then now the next thing is you have Towns locked up for a while. You have Randall. You have to decide whether you're bringing him back or not the next year. Then you have your young guys, your Obi Toppins, your Emmanuel Quickly's, and then you have the veteran Derrick Rose as well. So you have weapons enough to make things happen. Towns has shown that he can give effort defensively. He can definitely make you very dynamic offensively, even more dynamic offensively. He can spread the floor more for Julius Randle to use that left hand to attack the rim. For those who don't know, Julius Randle's left-handed. So, yeah. And then he gives you two big guys that can shoot as well as attack the rim. So their offense would be diverse, their defense would be solid, and I mean the Knicks would upgrade with that trade and not really lose a ton. So that's what I have in terms of that. Um, as far as just talking about the NFL and the NBA, I'm sticking to NBA. One other team, of course, we're going to talk about the other team in New York, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets took a loss last night to the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, Kyrie was not playing that game, so they basically just James Harden and everyone else. But one guy that's been missing for a while, that would be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has what they are deeming a minor hamstring strain, and it will keep him out till the All-Star break. He's not playing the All-Star game. He has been replaced by Indianapolis Pacers big man Domantas Sabonis. Excuse me if I butchered his name. Sorry. But as far as Kevin Durant, he's going to be out, to at least the All-Star break. Of course, he's still going to be able to name the starter. I mean, name his team, things like that, because he was named the captain. Who knows? He'll probably still be there, but in street clothes. You never know. But anyway, you have to start wondering about the calf injury. The hamstring injury with Kevin Durant. I mean, he is coming off an Achilles injury that sidelined him all of last year. He is getting older, and he is a pretty tall man. He's 7 foot tall, and he moves around like he's a guard. So, that is something that has to be looked at, paid attention to, and, there's no telling, if it can flare up or not. I think the Nets are doing the best thing possible right now, and that's giving him more time to heal. The more time he gets to heal, the better he'll be when it comes to playoff time and towards the end of the season. That's the best prescription for anything is rest at this time, not strenuous activity. We all know that the Nets are a dangerous team. We all know that the Nets can potentially represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA playoffs. So, we definitely got some things to wonder about with them, and definitely going to be interesting to watch to see how long he's out now. But I'm talking about the Nets, but I've got to get the opinion of the resident Nets fan. That is none other than Ted Hicks. What's going on, man? What's your thinking about KD and this injury going on? This hamstring injury.
Hang on 1 second. Let me fix my internet first.
Okay. Go ahead. It's all good. Cortland gave you a nice comment, though. He'll give you a nice comment to talk about. Let me bring that up real quick. All right. It's exactly what he said. The lower body injuries are piling up for KD. I think you have to be more than cautious with him at this point in his career. So that's definitely something to think on. Definitely something to wonder. As he gets older, definitely as he gets older. Just let me know when you're ready to come back in, Ted. I'll bring you back in.
Okay.
Just let me know when you're ready to come back in. But definitely it's something to think on that he is older.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Let me bring you back in. All right, there you go.
It's still not clear. Not a clear picture, right?
Not a super clear picture, but hey, you could be kind of faded like mine. But hey, it is what it is.
Oh,
maybe one day I'll get there somehow. What's going on, Tony, man? Tony, you want to come in and talk NBA? We can definitely do that because the All-Star game is going to be down in your neck of the woods in Warner Robins. So, hey, I don't know if
Okay.
does he talk NBA? Do you know if he talks NBA?
Tony D talks everything, man. Tony D talks everything. So,
Well, we
hey,
gonna see.
you started talking about Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
Tony D, if you want to get invited on up, say the word.
No, I got him. I just shot him one. I shot him one. The invitation's open for him. So if he wants to come on, the invitation is there.
So you
There
were
you
talking
go.
Brooklyn Nets. There he goes. You were talking Brooklyn Nets.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
If you would switch your screen to landscape. Go over to the settings tab on the.
I'm on my phone.
Oh, you are? Okay. Don't worry about it then. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, give me I'm trying to get my son to bed, but I can jump in for a little bit, or at least I'll be listening. So y'all go ahead, please. Appreciate the invite, absolutely.
Here you go. You coming back? You staying on? There you go. I got you.
All right.
To go to bed real
there
quick.
we go.
So Tony, if you press for time, I'll let you go because I want to give a soliloquy on the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll be listening, but I'll jump on in a minute. Just give me a few.
What's that?
I
I'll jump on in
remember.
a minute. Just give me a few, all right?
All right, no problem.
All right.
Mike, I remember I was either commenting on your show or Brian's show, and going back and forth with Cortland and going back and forth with LA, and you guys happen to be talking about Anthony Davis and the fact that Anthony Davis, he's just going to need rest, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yo, get the surgery now. Get it now. Because I know no Anthony Davis means clear. It's dude, that's going to mean the Nets will face the Clippers in the NBA Finals. And they
won't face the Clippers either.
Utah?
I would take Utah over the Clippers right now.
Oh, okay.
Clippers have no point guard. They still have no point guard, so I can't trust them.
So Kevin Durant, all he needs is rest. You give him enough rest. I'm just using the same analogy that was used on me. The same discussion was used on me. Yo, I to be truthful with you, I am concerned because this is like game 7, game 8. And I'm like, what in the world? I mean, we understand the COVID related, absences, but the hamstring is something else because you start to wonder, is it actually something else? Kind of concerned. I'm not all the way concerned. I became concerned last night when hey, what's up, Cortland? When you're asking James Harden to do all of that, because Harden could do all that in the regular season. He kind of locks up in the postseason. And I would be a fool if I didn't recognize that. So, and Kyrie, just keeping him on the court and engaged. So we know over the past several years that Kyrie is kind of brittle. And then you want to make sure his mind is right also. So there are some concerns there because when you traded away Harden, when you traded for Harden, you gutted the bench. You got it. Now granted, we've been I've been arguing with New York Knicks fans for the past 10 years, talking about that Carmelo Anthony trade with the Denver Nuggets when they basically sent all their role players away, and people were like, "Oh, they're just role players." Yeah, but those role players chew up a lot of minutes, a lot of rebounds, assists, and points, versus that one specific player. So, am I concerned? Slightly, but it's still early. We still got about 35, 40 games to go. Yep. So I'm not too concerned. And I think you need Durant back. If Durant isn't back within the last 20 to 22 games, then you got something to be concerned about because, he hoops. So he's going to cook at any given time. But if it's to a point where he's just on the bench, and we've seen him a lot on the bench, and from a fan's perspective, I don't know, with it being a 72-game season, I don't know how many games that we actually expect to see Durant out there this season, with it being his first year back. So I don't know if it's 42, I don't know if it's 52, what was looked upon as, something that's ideal. But, I mean, the key thing is keep him fresh for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the key thing. We got a few comments. Here. Let's
Probably
see.
from some Nets haters.
No, not from Nets fans. We got from, the issue is Brooklyn is what I thought it would be, and after the trade, injury-prone players and defense. Whew. Kind of cut deep with that one.
And he's not wrong. Cortland's not wrong because they played together 6 times.
Yeah. Here's another comment, and that's the recipe. Harden has the regular season while KD recovers, and they run through the playoffs afterwards. Huh. Interesting point there. One thing I will say is this though. They need Kyrie. They're going to need the glue guys. As Shaq says, the others. They're going to need them.
Yes.
The one guy I will say is that nobody talks about that actually has been solid for them is Brown. Brown has been solid for them.
Yes. I think Bruce Brown.
And Shamet can definitely be solid for them. It just they keep yo-yoing his playing time, and I don't understand that part of it. But he can definitely be solid for them if they give him burn. Give him solid playing time. That guy can handle the basketball. He can shoot. He's been in big playoff games. I mean, he started for the Clippers last year in the playoff run. So that'll tell you something. So, I think definitely, you have some pieces that can make some things happen. But I just don't. I just, I don't know. They need everybody to be healthy. But, I'm enjoying watching this. I thought it was going to be more of a soap opera than what it has actually been. It actually has been, pretty chill between all three of them. Now, I don't know how it would be if the world was open and James saw the world was open in New York, but it's not open right now in New York, and it is definitely helping the chemistry with that team. Oh, and I got to address another thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Cortland said Shaman is a turnover machine and can shoot you out of a game too. Well, unlimited shots, he ain't gonna have a chance to do that. And then
Cortland has a lot to say. Tell him, get him on up here.
He said he's at a family gathering. He can't do too much right now. But says a turnover machine, he can shoot you out of the game. Well, he's not gonna be playing point guard, so the only thing he's gonna be asked to do is defend and shoot, pretty much. And of course, another guy that's on their bench, Tyler Johnson. That guy can shoot the basketball too.
Hey, can I throw out a question to you, to Tony, to Cortland, and whoever else is viewing this chat? My question is, how different of a conversation would we be having if the Nets won last night because Philly lost to the Cavs, and the Nets would have been in first place by half a game? How much different would tonight's conversation be on this very show?
I still would have some reservation about them. I think it would be, they still would show that they are a special team. However, to be, you can be a special team and not win the title. The Golden State Warriors showed us that. So I would still be wondering about KD because ultimately I think they need KD to win the title and his health. And I always would think about that at one point. So that's just me, and I guess me thinking down the line, but I would definitely be talking about it and have some concerns. And then also, I got to address Tony's comment, man. Tony said that Julius Randle is holding the Knicks down darn near by himself. I got to address that one, man.
All right.
If you look at the Knicks, look at the guys that are on their team right now. Julius Randle is definitely doing the thing, and he's definitely their best player. We know that. But you also now have a Derrick Rose who has been, very, very good off the bench for any team he's played for since, he's kind of, fulfilled and found out his role and purpose. Then you also, Danny's talking about you, by the way. Said you'd be wearing a Nets jersey. But then also you got to also think about Emmanuel Quickly has been really good off their bench. He's definitely been solid for them. You also got to talk about RJ Barrett. You got to talk about, you've got players that are doing their thing for that team. Now, I'm not saying all of them are frontline players, but Quickly can definitely grow into that. Rose has been that before, as evidenced by the MVP. And, they do have pieces around Randall that can make it happen. Now, would Karl Anthony Towns be a better fit for that team or make them even better? You bet you he would make them even better. He would make Randall and Towns as a pairing. That would be unfair because they both can shoot. They both can handle the basketball. They both can pass. They can do everything. Everything. So that would be crazy. And then also, you got to also think that, Randall could potentially not be there next year because they drafted Obi. Randall's a free agent. It would be crazy to me not to bring him back, but I've seen crazier things happen.
Isn't Randall on a 1-year deal?
He's this is second year there. This is his second year there.
Okay. So it was a 1-and-1?
He's done. He's free agent after this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look historically in any of the Tibbs coach teams, the type of coach he is. He's going to do well. He's going to do well with the younger folks, with the younger talent, and the Knicks have a nice blend of vets and the kids. I think they're going to, if they were able. Now you were mentioning Cat. Were you mentioning Cat this season or next season?
No, I'm mentioning this season because there's rumors out there that they could trade for Karl Anthony Towns.
But who would they give up?
I did mention the players that would go back too.
Could you run that back?
Yeah, I'll go over it again. This was just my thinking. Of course, if you have something different you want to throw in, definitely. But I had, of course, Kevin Knox is out of there. He's gone. Yeah. We know Alec Burke would probably be gone too because they have a gluttony at the guard position. They have Bullock. They play a lot and start. They have Elfrid Payton, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly. Burke is the fifth guy in that rotation, so Burke would be gone.
Okay.
So those two definitely be gone. And then I think one of your bigs is probably going to go too. And I think this is the trade that they get rid of Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yes, this is the trade they would get rid of Mitchell Robinson for.
Okay.
Yeah. So that package, maybe throw a pick on top of that, and Karl Anthony Towns come to New York.
And then you're saying immediate number 1 seed.
No, I wouldn't say the Knicks would be the number 1 seed. No, I'm not crazy. But I would say they definitely would be even better than what they were, and that would be probably one of the best 4 or 5. That would be the best 4 or 5 duo in the NBA. That would be.
Gotcha.
There would be no question about that.
They're tied for 4th now,
right.
So in a certain way, they're surging.
Right.
I apologize that I didn't look at the standings before joining your show. That to find out what is the gap with between the 1 and the 4. How many games separate them?
Well, they're 18 and 17, and I would say I think the 76ers maybe lost 9 games, 10 games, so they're a ways back. I don't think they're getting way up there, but I think they'll be definitely better. I think this is more for the playoffs and for the future.
Okay,
trade to me.
I tell you, I would be sick because I'm in a couple of chat rooms with a bunch of Knicks fans. Whew, it would be nonstop.
Oh my goodness! And I got another comment, and he's not a Knicks fan, but he's giving you a comment here.
Knicks with
Cat in New York. Knicks are a surefire playoff team. Yes.
Agreed.
And let's see, Knicks with Cat between 3rd and 5th as East is constructed. They definitely have enough talent offensively. I think they have enough offensively as it is right now, but you can always get better. Always.
Yeah, I think they're going to always get better, and I think you would need Cat. Cat would have to need a little time to adjust to to New York, to East Coast. I'm going to say a solid 2 or 3 seed. I think 5 is too too low. They're already at 4, so I'm with a talent like Cat, you can only go up.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I've got we were talking about the Knicks, but talked about the Knicks. We talked about the Nets. One team that I really want to talk about that people were killing earlier this season. I mean, destroying this earlier in the season. They were saying that the other team in this trade won it. Now, my, how the roles have reversed. Yes, I'm talking about that trade that sent John Wall to the Houston Rockets and that sent Russell Westbrook to the Washington Wizards. The Rockets were doing well, after the James Harden trade. They started trying to do a little thing, surging a little bit. Then the big man got hurt, and then everything's been downhill from there. On the other hand, in the last 9 games, the Washington Wizards have been 8-1. They actually are surging. I will still say they're out of the playoff picture right now still. However, they are surging at the right time. And they're finding some kind of chemistry. And, people will say that what's going on, Amen Qua, I believe is how you say that. But I will say not the Knicks, but the Wizards are surging, and everybody's going to talk about how Beal and Westbrook are playing well together and doing this and doing that, and I understand that. But this isn't about them. This is about the role players. Role player number 1, Garrison Matthews, who is from Lipscomb University, which is in Nashville. So he actually is playing well. He's shooting the basketball. I actually watched him play a couple times when he was in college. It's between Lipscomb and Belmont play each other in the Battle of the Boulevard every year. And crazy thing was Garrison Matthews and Dylan Windler, who plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers, played against each other in college. So, yeah. So I've seen Garrison Matthews play, and I knew he was talented. I just didn't know he was NBA. I didn't think he was NBA talented. So he's definitely proven me wrong. He's rose through the ranks and definitely made it. And now he's a starter for the Washington Wizards. And the thing is with him is he brings a lot of grit and a lot of shooting. He can shoot the basketball, man. I mean, the kid can shoot. I've witnessed this. I witnessed him destroying Belmont on the perimeter, shooting the basketball. So I know he can shoot. Then you also have to think of the other starter that got replaced. I mean, that's there now. I'm sorry, and that is what is his name? God, I'm forgetting his name. That would be Mo Wagner. Now, Mo Wagner will probably not get a lot of credit, but Mo Wagner's a hustle guy. He's probably undersized playing center, but he's going to stick his nose in there. He's going to shoot an occasional 3 because he did that in Michigan, but he's going to, go to the rim. He's going to fight hard every single game, and that type of spirit is what they need at that position, especially with the loss of Thomas Bryant for the year to a torn ACL. So definitely those 2 guys are making a difference, as well as Rui Hachimura. His return has made a difference because he's playing with energy. And now Bertans is actually hitting 3s. He couldn't hit water in the ocean when the season started. But now he's getting it together. He's shooting his 3s, and he's spreading the floor, which is helping Bradley Beal, which is helping Russell Westbrook, which is making their offense even better. So the role guys. The role guys are the main reason for this surge for the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. You have any thoughts on them, man? I mean, they're making a surge. They're not necessarily in the playoff race right now, but if you look at it between them and the Miami Heat, they're only 3 games back of the Miami Heat, 3 or 4 games back of the Miami Heat.
I have no comments about the Washington. I was about to call them the Washington Bullets.
Hey, I plenty want that name to come back. So, so I mean, you know, hey.
No, I admire what they're doing, playing it, really playing as a team. Not too, like I said, not too concerned about them. Not too concerned about them. As a Nets fan, not I'm going to keep my eye on them. So peripheral, I'll be watching for them, but I'm good.
I'm checking on them now because they're playing the Celtics right now. Let's see, what's the score? Oh well, let's see. Is it today?
But in a game where it's the Wizards and the Celtics, I'm rooting for the Wizards.
Oh man,
Mike, being a New Yorker, there's no way you can root for a Boston team.
I hear you there. It's 68-63 so far right now. The Wizards are down by 5. So they're hanging in there. Let's see. Russell Westbrook has let me see if I can find this. But see, Russell Westbrook has 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and Bradley Beal has 30 points already. He has 30 of their 63 points.
And it's halftime?
It's in the third quarter.
Jeez.
He has 30 of their 63 points, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I had to double take at that too.
Right.
Then Bertans has 15 points in 12 minutes off the bench.
So then the rest of the team is doing 18 points.
So it's Westbrook has 10, Beal has 30, and Bertans has 15. Nobody else in double figures.
So that's 53 of their 63 points.
Right. Yeah. Nobody else in double figures. Oh man, Corlin said
what were we saying about the role players and the bench and everything else like that? They're not showing up tonight.
They didn't show up tonight. That's all I can say.
Jeez.
Well, at least one did. One did, at least in Bertans. But other than that, nobody else has showed up tonight.
The rest of the team is watching the Golden Globes.
Oh man. But hey, since we're talking about the Washington Wizards, I posted something on Twitter earlier today, and I said basically that Russell Westbrook is the most polarizing basketball player in the NBA. What do you think, man?
Russell Westbrook is the most polarizing basketball. Russell Westbrook and not LeBron James is the first thing I'll
tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because he's the only man I know that averaged a triple-double for a season, and people still said he should be moved to shooting guard.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
He is the I mean, of course he does make some questionable decisions. I understand that. However, he still is a point guard, and that's his position. And of course, people question him about his fiery attitude and how he's on the court and he doesn't have any friends on the court. That's how he always plays. And, everything from his attitude to his clothing that he wears to the way he talks in the media sometimes. I mean, literally, it's like, wow. I mean, is he ever going to do anything right for anybody?
But he's definitely a guy you would love to have on your team if you're down and out, or if there's a game 7, or someone who's going to give it their all. Polarizing, yes, but only in the sense of the way he plays the game. When he's on the
court. What I mean. That's what I mean in terms of just
okay. Yeah. Oh, I would agree with you. I would say overall, like overshadowing the game, definitely LeBron James. overshadowing the game. Like he's bigger than the game itself. But polarizing, yeah, I can go with that because Westbrook, just like you said, just the style of play, I'm going to jack as many shots as I need to jack up. And you just know, you're like, what is this guy doing? You know?
Oh man, why you doing my boy Westbrook like that, man?
Because only because, like you said, he was the only dude triple double, and people were still like, okay, I'm still not impressed because he was on a dead Thunder team, and just I don't know if, let's put it this way, I'm sorry about that.
That's Westbrook calling you, man.
Yeah, that's Westbrook calling me. Like, yo, I hear you on Mike Patton's show talking trash about me. Cortland said Westbrook is polarizing for the team he plays for. Yeah, it's just there's no true fit for him. Like, you name a team and you say, where does he really fit? He probably fit the best on the Thunder because we were used to it. But I mean, if we think about it. Thunder had Harden, prime Westbrook, and Durant, a young Kevin Durant. And I'm like, didn't work. It didn't work for various reasons, that I'm sure management is still kicking themselves for. But yeah, I can agree with you. I can agree with you. I would say, yes, most polarizing. But he's still respected out there.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. He plays. He's probably got the most heart of any player in the NBA. He definitely does.
Cortland has a couple of other comments that make some sense. After he said, if anyone is polarizing strictly for the game itself, it's Melo or CP3.
Ooh, man.
That's a take.
I'll say this about CP3. I love watching him play because he really is a pure point guard. Okay. Now, some things he does on the court sometimes make you wonder, like all the way going back to the Wake Forest days where he kicked the guy in a certain region. So, or push the guy in a certain region.
Okay.
Yeah. All the way going back to those days, I always would I know he wants to win and wants to fight to win. Sometimes I'm like, okay, that was a little over the line there, buddy. But he still kind of does those little things where he kind of incites or infuriates players on the court. But I mean, I love watching him play in terms of the pureness of a point guard because he can score, he can assist, rebounds. He commands the offense like a general. And that's where I'm like, okay, cool. But on the other sense, he kind of pushes players a little bit. And sometimes in that sense, some players are like, hey, I know what I'm doing out here. Leave me alone. I got this. I'll be where I'm supposed to be. And some players don't know how to take that from him either. So that's where the polarizing part for CP3, yeah. Melo, I'm still trying to figure out the angle on Melo there with the polarizing, but yeah.
So think of 2 years ago, or it might have been 3 years ago. If CP3, his hamstring, he doesn't go down, they take the Warriors out, don't they?
I believe they do.
Yeah, I kind of do. And I think today, if that happened today, we would be having a different conversation. Whereas, we look at Chris Paul as kind of like, can't really get that team over the hump, or hasn't been in the situation to get the team over the hump. That was like the closest he probably will ever get, unless something amazing happens in Phoenix this season. I don't know. I mean, I kind of think back to when that trade got squashed with CP3 going to the Lakers. I mean, dynasty could have been a dynasty,
I got some other thoughts on that trade and what I think would have happened, but go ahead, keep going.
Oh no! I just wanted to throw that one out and just like Chris Paul, you kind of like want to like him, but you're just like, okay, when you look at the body of work and you're like, and we're not just talking about rings. We're not just talking about rings. I mean, is he going to go down and like when he calls it quits, and he's probably going to call it quits, I would say sooner than later, because he's 36 maybe, 35, 36, 37.
Mm-hmm.
He's still playing at a high level, but when the book is closed, what are we going to say?
Well, I'll say this about him. He definitely is, and plenty of other people have said this before, so I'm not saying something that other people haven't said, but he's this generation's Isaiah Thomas minus the rings.
Okay.
So that's what I would say for him, because Isaiah Thomas wasn't overly athletic. He wasn't just, he couldn't do he could command a team and make things happen. And that was his most special skill, and that's what Chris Paul has. But he just doesn't have the rings to go along with it. But I will say this about
the trade
about Chris Paul. That trade would happen. I think we would have if social media was around and if that trade happened. I think you hear talk today about a fight that happens between CP3 and Kobe in practice. You think Kobe versus Shaq was something? Kobe versus CP3 would have been even more amazing.
That would have been great. That would have been great. Because I can't see CP3 backing down to anybody.
Right. I can't see it either. And I'm just like, that'd be great to watch. I mean, it would be amazing covering that team, watching them go at it every single day. Because he's not going to back down. And I mean, and the funny part was, and then I believe they of course, what if you had a young Dwight Howard, Kobe Bryant, and CP3 on that team?
Three-peat?
That would have been interesting. I don't know if they would have, because we saw how Dwight Howard worked out there. And and Dwight Howard now is different than Dwight Howard back then, because Dwight Howard back then didn't listen to anybody and thought he knew it all. That's why him and Kobe didn't get along as much either, and he didn't put in the work at the time. As far as the Dwight Howard now, oh yeah, if he had that attitude, if he has the type of attitude and mental, is in the mental space that he is now, back then yeah, I would say they would have won multiple championships. But just the mental space he was in wasn't necessarily the one of receiving information and being able to process it and understand that, hey, we're all in this together.
When you jogged my memory a little bit when you said Chris Paul is yesteryear's Isaiah Thomas, because I remember at the height of Steph Curry, remember he's out there 50 feet hitting shots, shimmying and everything like that. I remember one night seeing, and you know where I'm going with this. I remember seeing Isaiah. He was on the panel, and Isaiah said, "Yo, if this was the '80s and he tried that, you know what would happen to him, right?" And I was just like, everyone was cringing. But, you got to respect Isaiah, because he was like, got to pick them up at the 3/4 mark at the court, on the court. And he was like, yo, he wouldn't have been shimmying. and just Isaiah, the way Isaiah said it, he kept it professional, but there was a slight bit of hood thrown in there, believe it or not, that Isaiah and the bad boys would have laid hands on him, and it was just and I just go back to when you made that comment. I said, yeah, I could see Chris Paul in his face, like, yo, you know what? You're not going to do this. I could see him in Kobe's face. Talking about Kobe, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
And probably the only person on the team that would say that. Right.
And then I don't know, whoever else was on the team, they probably be the referees for the rest of practice. Trying to separate both of them. But as far as Melo, we have another comment on here. Man, Cortland is with the comments. Whoa, boy, we got to bring you on. We got to bring you on next time.
That's good.
But Melo is an ISO god, and Melo is exciting. He does everything you want from a player in today's game. Shoot outside, still has mid-range game, and can kill you one-on-one. Yeah, I can see why that could be isolating because sometimes or polarizing because of he is considered the black hole on offense sometimes.
Dude.
Or he has been considered that when he was playing for the Knicks. He isn't that now because he doesn't play a ton of minutes. He didn't play a boatload of minutes like he did with the Knicks to shoot that many shots. But when he's cooking, like he was the other night for Portland, he could not miss. And he knows he's coming in to do a job, and that is to score buckets. And, I mean, I like seeing Melo coming in off the bench. I mean, honestly, he could benefit a lot of teams with how he comes in off the bench, and he knows his job is to come in and get buckets. And he comes in and gets buckets immediately.
Melo on Portland, awesome. I couldn't – you probably couldn't find a better fit. Melo off the bench for Portland. I think great idea. Ding Dollar. Slow clap for being able to get to management and ownership to orchestrate that deal. What I will say is I watched Melo for years on MSG. Totally kill an offense. Hold the ball. Kind of like doing pulling a James Harden before James Harden made it popular. Holding the ball for like maybe 20 of the 24 seconds. Mm-hmm. Totally killing the entire offense. And you're sitting there like, is this what we're doing? And, seeing Melo on many nights jack up like 29, 30, 32 shots. So he was getting his 22, 23 points, but he was killing the offense in the process. I watched that in years, for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely killed the offense and just holding the basketball. But the thing I like about what he's doing in Portland is he's making his moves quick.
Yes.
He's not really he's making his move quick. Hey, Cortland's got a really good question though. Who did he play with that he could trust? Well, I'll say this. Melo was in New York, so he could have called the Ghostbusters. He could have trusted them.
He couldn't trust anyone. You had what's his name, Jeremy Lin. You had
he didn't like that. He didn't like Jeremy Lin. You know that though.
Say it again.
He didn't like Jeremy Lin like that. You know that.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying the people that he had. I mean, he didn't trust them.
Right. Then you had you had Amari, but it was broke down Amari at that time. And who else did they have there? Oh, you remember when they brought in Raymond Felton at the point guard spot?
Yeah, from Sumner.
They thought that was the answer, and that was bad.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, goodness.
You didn't know which Raymond Felton you were getting.
Yeah, you didn't. And
you didn't know which one you were getting. Remember when Stat came to New York and those first 40 games?
Man, they were.
I remember those first 40 games, and he was balling, but he was overdoing it because he was
the guy. He was the centerpiece.
He was the centerpiece, and he was burning through. I mean, if you look at just total usage, it was like kind of ridiculous at the time. Right.
And he had Danilo Gallinari on that team with him. You had
all those role players.
Yep, and all them role players got shipped to Denver, and then they started cooking out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a ton of role players. It worked. What was that guy's name? He went to the Lakers, and he won. I think he won a title out with the Lakers. Timothy Mozgov.
No, Mozgov won a title with Cleveland.
Mozgov won the title with Cleveland. Okay. But yeah, they just had a bunch of. I remember when J.R. Smith was on with them, and it was just like it was kind of like Misfits. So I kind of understood that he would hold the ball like that, and but it just got to the point where it just wasn't entertaining to watch.
Right.
Him just jacking up shots like that.
Well, we've got our comedy hour tonight, and it's Cortland. Greenland and Amari, no need, Stoudemire are your answers. Then I'd hold the ball for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
I can't even be mad at that comment.
No.
Hello, Nday. Thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you as well. All right. Let's see.
Nday, how you doing?
Man. Boy, oh boy. Speaking of the Celtics, I gotta talk about them.
Okay.
We gotta talk about the Celtics. Yeah, I know. We gotta talk about the Celtics. The Celtics just can't figure it out. They cannot figure it out. I don't know what to say about them, but they just cannot figure things out so far this season. Kemba Walker's injured. He's playing through a knee injury, is basically what it is. He's getting an injection in his knee. You have basically Tristan Thompson. You're not letting him be the garbage guy on the team, which he's the garbage guy. Basically, not saying in a bad way. He gets the rebounds, does all the dirty work. He's not being allowed to be that guy. Then you have Tice playing your center spot a lot, and I'm like, okay, they've got a lot going on. And of course, Tatum is still recovering from Corona because he talks about having shortness of breath sometimes with or quick fatigue, I should say. Jaylen Brown's playing well, but they don't have what I didn't think would be an issue for them is an issue for them, and their depth is an issue. It is right now. Man.
So I was logged into Clubhouse, I think it was last night or the Friday night, to a couple of NBA chats. And people were going back and forth about the Celtics. And I guess there's like buyer's remorse with Kemba.
Right. I believe so.
This heavy buyer's remorse because remember, he never really wanted to leave the Hornets. And, people were saying Jordan was cheap or this or that, but Jordan wasn't going to, probably in his first great move as a executive or owner, he was like, I'm not going to bid against myself.
Right. Right.
So he didn't do it, which was a smart move. Kemba leaves. Kemba could have took the money. He could have left like 30 mil on the table and stayed with the Hornets, and they would be a totally, it would be a totally different configuration of a team.
Right.
I don't know. It's just like I got one Boston fan that I talk to on a regular, and I kind of I kind of poked the bear a little bit. Because Brad Stevens was the whiz kid. He could do no wrong. He was like Sean. What's the name of the coach for the Rams?
Sean McVay.
Yeah.
And Danny corrected you as well. Kemba got traded.
Kemba got traded.
He did get traded.
That was a sign and trade?
Yeah, they ended up doing it as a sign and trade, and I believe an exception. Went towards the no. Because remember they were signing Terry Rozier, so Terry Rozier went to Charlotte, and then Kemba went to Boston.
Technically, it wasn't a trade.
Technically, it wasn't, but it was.
It wasn't a trade, but Danny's doing his Danny stuff.
He's totally correct though.
with his pixie dust, throwing it around like, oh, it's a trade.
Yes, I already corrected him, Danny. Yes, traded for Rozier. I know. And by the way, the Wizards are up 84-81 against Boston now.
Okay,
Bertans had 17 off the bench in 18 minutes.
Good. I really didn't believe. All right, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys go with that because just like you guys are like, oh,
Don't make me bring Danny in here.
you guys are like, nah, Anthony Davis. Da, 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 you know, going back and forth about Anthony Davis, and I'm like, man, he's shot.
I'll tell you this about the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are definitely having buyer's remorse, and to me, Kemba is definitely hurting them right now. Well, we see Ted stepped out for a moment, but I'm going to talk about the Boston Celtics. Definitely Boston Celtics. Kemba has not been the Kemba that they expected. I mean, last year they were, doing well, and there goes Ted again. But the Boston Celtics were doing well towards it. I don't know what that was, Ted, but okay. But as far as the Boston Celtics, I mean, Kemba was doing well till the playoffs came around. Kemba struggled. Kemba wasn't healthy, and of course, in the bubble they went down to the Heat. And then you have this season, he still wasn't healthy, taking knee injections, things like that. Still not the same Kemba. He's showing signs, but he's still not the same Kemba. And honestly, tonight, let's see what he's doing tonight. He has 17 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists. So he's not doing terrible tonight.
No, you see, give him a break.
Yep. Well, Jaylen Brown's not playing.
Maybe he needed some rest.
Well, Jaylen Brown's not playing tonight, so he should get 17 points. But
I know the Celtics are going to be sitting chewing on that contract for another 2 years.
Yep, definitely. But
trying to figure out a way to get him out of there.
Right. And I say hello from London to Corey Motionless. Thanks for joining in. Let's see. As far as this comment from Cortland, I think Cortland might be a little out of hand right here, but we're going to address this comment, though. They need to make a choice, either build around Brown and trade Tatum or build around Tatum and trade Brown. Regardless, you need a scoring big and depth. You don't trade neither of those guys. No.
Come on.
No. The issue is they're not getting their bang for their buck from Kemba. The thing is, you can piece together some things and make it happen. And, as far as everything's going, Tristan Thompson can definitely make a difference on that team. It's just I don't know if he will be allowed to make a difference on that team. He is a garbage man. That's what he does. Let him do that. When him and Tice out there together, that just messes a lot of things up. To me, you need a power forward that can stretch the floor. Kevin Love would fit good with this thing. Him and Tristan would fit good alongside each other. It's probably not going to happen, but they would fit good alongside each other. And
how many years left on Kevin Love's deal? Kevin Love is always mentioned in a trade.
He's got like 2 or 3 years, I believe.
And max money, right? Well, max 4 years ago.
Yeah, he's a max guy that's enjoying wearing his finest of clothes on the sideline. So, yeah, and I can't remember the last time that Kevin Love played for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. I can't remember.
Jeez.
But Danny's saying this though. This is an interesting comment. Wait on Dre. Why are we waiting on Dre, Danny?
Why are we waiting on Andre
They
Drummond?
need another. They need another big. They can't stretch the floor like they need another hole in their head. They don't need another big. To me, I'm like this. If you bring him on, you have to get rid of Tice. You have to move Tice to the bench. To me, the best lineup for this team, and here we go. Hear me out. Marcus Smart has to be healthy, one. But hear me out. You have the point guard spot, Kemba. Shooting guard spot, you have Marcus Smart. At the small forward position, you put Jaylen Brown. Power forward position, you put Tatum. Center spot, you put either Tristan or you put Tice, or if they trade for or wait for Andre Drummond to be there, then yes. And Cortland, I hear you, but they can coexist together. They've been coexisting fine together so far. They've been coexisting fine together so far because You're saying Tatum's a Kobe Bryant player. I get that.
After how many years?
But Jaylen Brown can play defense, and he's a very good defensive player, and he gets his shots in as well. So I think they can win with those two together. I got to say I disagree with you there. I'll throw the comment up so everyone can see.
I was going to say, can you please put that comment up there?
Yeah.
And highlight Cortland's his handle.
They can coexist. They can't. Yes, they can. They can coexist. Their issue isn't those two. Their issue is a big man and a point guard. That's their issue. That is their issue. Said 3 years, and Danny said there's 3 years and $96 million left for Kevin Love. Woo! Good
For Kevin Love?
Yep. Wow.
Needless
to say,
33 a year. Shoot.
What Cleveland won't do for Love. That's all I can say. Yeah, pun was intended.
Wow.
I'm just like, golly. Skills-wise, Ted, not legacy-wise.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Portland, I was coming for you.
I still was like, those two fit well together to me. They fit fine together to me. Their issue is point guard and big man. That is their issue. They still haven't figured out the power forward and the center position. And the thing is, Tatum reportedly grew over the time off. They going into last year or this year. And he's reportedly like 6'9", I know, or 6'9" or 6'10". Now. I think I would put him at the power forward position.
Of course.
I mean, if you're going to go with a small lineup, I mean, put him at the power forward position. Put Jaylen Brown at the small forward position. He's not a short guy himself. I think he's like 6'7" himself. Then you put Marcus Smart, and you put Kemba Walker out there. I mean, in an ideal world, the point guard would be Marcus Smart, in my opinion. But that's just not about going to happen. Say call about this is a good one. This is a good one. Danny said Boston should call about Nikola Vucevic. Wow. Okay. I can see that one. Say you're putting Tatum at power forward, you're asking for bully ball. They played him at power forward last year. You saw how it worked out. It actually didn't work out bad at all putting him at power forward last year, to be honest.
Is it safe if there's a super small lineup, you would put him at the 4 or the 5?
No, I just put him at the 4. I wouldn't put him at the 5. No.
Okay.
Not the 5, just the 4. The 4 is as far as I'm going with putting Tatum in the front court.
Okay.
But yeah, you could put him at the power forward, and he can hang. I mean, look at the NBA at the power forward position. Who scares you as a power forward? That's physical power forward. I can't name anybody on the East Coast that does. Besides Randall, of course. You got Randall.
Yeah. What about that beast out in New Orleans?
He's in the East. He's in the Western Conference. I'm talking about just in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, okay. I
mean, I think people will say Bam, but Bam plays at the center spot a lot. So,
okay.
But just looking at the teams, you could get away with playing him. Cortland, we're talking about in the Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference
is in the West. Julius is the only power forward that you could be like, okay, cool. He can't hang with him. But other than that, Siakam is a power forward, but Siakam is he kind of floats around a little bit too. And Siakam is about 6'8", and Tatum's the same size as he is. So I get it with Julius and Siakam. I get that. But I think he can hang at the power forward spot. I think he'd give them more problems than they would give him. So trying to especially guard them on the perimeter. So Marcus Smart, we got Marcus Smart comment. And, I definitely say I love Marcus Smart in the pros. I hated him when he was going against the Bulls, but, I mean, I like him as a player. Marcus Smart as a player is one of my favorites from how he was in college. So I'm curious to where he would shine best. Honestly, he would be the point guard of the team if Kemba wasn't there. I thought he was going to be the point guard of the team. Then Kemba came along. So, if Kemba wasn't there, he would be the point guard of the team. And he essentially, to me, he is the heart and soul of that defense. I mean that team. I'm sorry. And Danny threw out Giannis. Giannis, yeah, I hear you. Giannis does handle the ball, and he does. But name anybody at power forward that's handling Giannis, man. Come on, Danny. Come on, Danny. So and nobody's handling him at power forward. The only one I can think of is maybe Ben Simmons. Other than that, that's it. So, but yeah, man, we've been on about an hour and 15 minutes, man. I mean, who doesn't get the ball enough to me? Who doesn't get the ball enough? Who are we talking about, Tony? And that's what I want to know. Who doesn't get the ball?
So wait, what position does Ben Simmons actually play?
Well, they list him as point guard, but I still call him a point forward. But they list him as point forward. So it is what it is. But honestly, Ben Simmons is a great defensive player. I think he's going to be who he is, and he's a great defensive player that won't shoot the three. And I think so many times people get hooked in on him wanting to shoot the three that they're missing that the Philadelphia 76ers have put shooters around him and Embiid. You've got Green, you've got Thibault that can shoot. You've got Maxey that can shoot. You've got plenty of guys that can shoot the basketball that are around them. So, of course, you got Seth Curry. I'm sorry, Seth Curry. You got to remember him. He can shoot too. So they've got pieces around them that can shoot and spread the floor. So I don't think shooting will be their biggest issue this year. I don't think it will be. I said Smart doesn't get the ball enough to me. Well, on that team, he's not going to get the majority of the shots. I mean, he's going to go Tatum and Brown, and then everybody else is going to fend for themselves. Tatum, Brown, and Kemba, and then everyone else is going to fend for themselves. Says, Mama call him Clay, I'm going to call him Clay. Oh, my goodness. And Danny stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, so he woke up as a comedian. So yeah, but I definitely speaking of Klay Thompson, I definitely miss watching him play this year, but hopefully he'll be coming back healthy next year. Anybody have any questions or anything like that before we call it a wrap on the night? You got any questions, Ted?
No. NBA, no. No, I'm good.
Gotcha. I know Cortland's got about 50 million questions. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny, for the award, man. I got talent. I want to step up to the podium real quick. Is this thing on? Okay. I want to thank the Academy for the award, with my performance. And, this has always been a dream of mine to get this award tonight. I thank you.
My goodness.
And good night. I had to do it one time. I couldn't help it.
Nah, it's like I said, it's the Golden Globes tonight, so it made sense. It made sense. Of course, I stayed at the Holiday Inn last night too. So, I thought I was an actor. That's what you guys say at the Holiday Inn, man.
I'm just cracking jokes, man. So we'll catch up again. Football will be an interesting chat with you guys. Hey, Tony, if you want to come in and talk football with me, you need to come on my show Thursday. My show Thursday is called Touring the AFC South. I'm waiting for confirmation on a guest for that show. Thanks for the fist bump, man. Then the fist bump award. Thank you. I'm waiting for confirmation, but we may be talking a little Deshaun Watson and a little JJ Watt come Thursday.
Oh,
definitely trying to get some insight and some inside information on those two situations. So,
can I mention one thing?
Sure.
Last night, that Canelo fight. Did any of you guys watch it?
Nah, I didn't watch it because I already knew it was going to happen. It's almost like Groundhog Day.
I said on Twitter to you guys, I said, yo, Canelo versus the tomato can. And I don't know if you guys caught my humor or not. Maybe I should have put a tomato can instead of a picture of a gif of Canelo Alvarez. That was painful to watch.
Got you. Oh, we got a question. We got a question.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Oh, let's see here. Let me put this question up. It is from Charles Petrie. Does the East belong to the Nets in spite of the 76ers currently leading? I would say it's the Nets to lose. The East is the Nets to lose, in my opinion. What do you think?
I agree.
Even though the potential MVP is playing for the 76ers in Embiid. I mean, he is mercilessly destroying folks every single week, game, quarter, whatever you want to say, second, 2-minute spans, whatever you want to do to keep up with how he's destroying people every game, he's doing it. And thanks for the subscription, Charles. Appreciate it. Oh, quick thoughts on the Raptors.
Okay.
Yes, that's my favorite team outside of my favorite team, actually. You didn't
The
know
Tampa
that.
Raptors?
Yes, the Raptors are my favorite team outside of my favorite team, and because they have hey, I pronounced his name right too. Hey, show me what I want. But yeah, thanks. But as far as the Raptors, I'll say that they're a gritty team. Fred VanVleet is one of he's one of my favorite guys to watch. Him and Siakam, I definitely like watching both of them. You cannot count out the Raptors. I think they're starting to round into shape. I told folks about Chris Boucher roughly 1 or 2 years, a couple years ago. I was like, this guy's coming. He's going to be the next guy to make a name for himself on that team, and he sure has done so. So he's the only reason he doesn't start, which Danny astutely reminded me of, is because he always gets in foul trouble. That's probably the only reason he doesn't start. But other than that, he comes in, he can shoot the three, he blocks shots, rebounds, and he can finish. Of course, he gets dunked on from time to time, like Miles Bridges did on him with the two-handed windmill behind his back, just terrible dunk on him. But yeah, I'll say this. Yeah, Siakam is basically a self-made player because Siakam when he first got into the NBA, nobody really knew how to take him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 6'8" power forward that really couldn't do a whole bunch. He was an energy and athleticism guy. But now he can shoot the three, he can post up, he can do all those different things, and he just makes things happen. Now, of course, he's out right now to health and safety protocols, so we probably won't see him until after the All-Star break. But he definitely is a guy that has matured and grown. And the thing is, Nick Nurse is a guy that's helped groom him, as well as Chris Boucher and other guys on that team, Fred VanVleet too. So basically, all these guys are getting paid because Nick Nurse helped groom them and make them into who they are, and help mature them into NBA players. So I'll definitely say the Raptors cannot be counted out because their grittiness and just their the smarts they play with, and then the thing that Nick Nurse is a tactician. So you have to always look out for them, and you have a whole second half of the season for them to get right. So, yeah, definitely, Tony, I agree with you. Definitely. Oh, boy. I got a flash flood warning here in Tennessee. We had tornado watch earlier. Now we got flash flood warning.
Hey, the question for Tony. He referenced something on a live stream that I had earlier, and then he also referenced it again with you. He's having a Zoom. Tony, the Zoom, is that crypto related? Digital currency related, or is that sports related? I'm sure he'll respond. So you got a flash flood coming your way. I think I got some winter weather advisory. Well, a wind weather advisory starting at I think 3:00 in the morning here.
All right. Well, hey, you better keep your eyes peeled, man. That wind, man. You might see Dorothy fly by the window. So you got to keep your eyes peeled, man. But let's see. I'll be streaming myself in a few minutes. Okay. Said they were better last season. I agree. They were better last season, but they're still a team to watch out for. Another guy that's underrated on that team is going to be a free agent this summer, Norman Powell. They need to keep that guy around. So, that's just my thoughts. But, And he said it is a crypto Zoom call.
Okay.
Gotcha. So, but yeah. Yes, sir. We'll be safe up here, man. Trust me, it will be all right. The way my house is set up, basically, the water goes down like this. So, we'll be just fine. We'll be fine.
Okay.
We just the signal and stuff like that is just what I got to worry about. But, man, I'm going to call it a night, man. It's been a good chat. And it's like the rain is seriously like beating down on my house right now. I can hear it.
Man.
I don't know if you can hear it on the broadcast.
No, I can't.
It's literally pounding the side of the house right now. So, but yep, got to get off. I thank everybody for tuning in. Definitely. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mike Patton 82. It's at Mike Patton 82. Let's see. I'll definitely be talking I'll definitely be writing another article on the Titans this week, and also, of course, we're going to be touring the AFC South again, and hopefully once I've confirmed everything, I'll have what we're talking about. I'm crossing my fingers that it'll be talking about the Houston Texans. And hey, thanks, Charles. Hope you have a good broadcast, man. But yeah, as far as everything, just hopefully I'll have my guest for this week. I'm gonna check back in with them on tomorrow. So, but yeah, man, let me hop off of here, man. You want to give everybody your social media or anything and how they can reach out to you and when your shows are?
Oh, just you follow me on Haps. Someone had just sent me a text. Wait, someone had just sent me a text, and I was reading that. I was like, "What the?" So I'm listening to you talking about it's raining, it's beating down, internet's going to go down, and one of my friends just texted me, and I was just like, "Well, wait a minute, what's going on here?" But no, you can find me on Twitter as Real Ted Hicks, or you can find me on the Haps app. Just go to my profile, and you will find the Twitch channel, and YouTube, and Instagram, and Facebook, and all of that type of stuff. And a lot of that stuff I don't even update. So that's the greatest thing about it.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's too much. It's too much, Mike. It's
man, it's never too much, man. In the words of Luther Vandross, never too much, never too much, never too much. No, but we ain't gonna turn this into a music broadcast because I could probably do a music broadcast all night too. So yeah, I probably could do one of those all night. I've literally, let's see, the last couple weeks, I've literally made about 3 Spotify playlists.
Oh, really?
Yep, I did one today actually, which is all East Coast music, all East Coast New York City music, basically New York City and New Jersey music. We got Queen Latifah, got KRS-One, got all of them on there. And we ain't going above the mid 90s on that one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I got that one, and I've got one of. How about I've got one that's got all songs on it that were sampled. I call that one, I got that one called Simple. It's called Simply Sampling, is what I called it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You need to publish those your playlist.
They're out there. And you want me to put them on Facebook or where you want me to put them at?
Put them on Twitter. That's where I usually go.
Cool. I got it.
I try to stay away from Facebook. It's too toxic for me.
Man, that's why the scroll button is my best friend. But yeah. But yeah, I gotta call tonight, man. Gotta go get ready for the night we had to come with all this rain beating down on the house. So yeah.
Gotcha. I'll talk to you later.
All righty. Have a good one, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a great night.